And YouTube coming up, and we're live on YouTube. Hi, YouTubers. Glad you're here. Okay, let's get rid of that.
I have a new chair today.
You do have a new chair. All right. So let us know where you're joining from on YouTube or TikTok in the comments. And we are live.
Ooh.
Are you yawning on the show in like...
Yeah, I covered my mouth.
But you gave it like a... Woo.
I know, but you can edit that out. No one was on.
The live gets saved. There's your friend Kristen. She likes you more than me, by the way.
Kristen.
Yeah.
All right. Well, good morning. Good morning. Good early afternoon, depending on where you're logging in from. It's Saturday.
Saturday. Okay. Very cool. We have Tracy from East Tennessee.
All right. Tennessee. We have
we know lots of people from East Tennessee.
Yes. Is that where
from Cleveland?
April
yeah.
and Beecher? Is that Eastern Tennessee?
They're in Cleveland, Tennessee,
Eastern,
which is in Eastern Tennessee. So Lisa says my hair looks better. Yeah, I got to do a little hair work in between.
Poor Paul. Bless his heart. We slept till 8 a.m. Pacific time today. And Paul, literally, I was like, how nice to sleep in. This is so great. I get out of bed, go to the bathroom, come back. I'm like, it's 8 o'clock. He's like, what? I'm supposed to be on right now doing a book group. So
it's like, oh shit.
He did the, I don't even think you brush your teeth.
God, sometimes you tell stuff that you should not say. Jeez.
It doesn't matter.
It matters a lot to me.
Oh, sorry. It was virtual. Who cares, right?
It matters to me.
It's just you and you.
Kristen says, hey, Ashley, not going to say what I said I would, Paul. Oh, I told something on you today. So anyway.
Oh, so who's TMIing then today?
Fred from England is with us.
Oh, I believe is Fred, is this your first time
logging on? Isn't that the same Fred we talked to before?
I have to look at his handle to see.
Yeah, PG.
Oh, yeah.
PG for me.
Yeah, we had some interesting conversation with him about what was considered curse words.
That's right.
His land versus ours.
Bollocks.
No, it was something else. It was bugger. Yeah. Anyway, we don't need to go down that. So, all right. Well, happy Saturday.
Although
everyone.
Curse words has been a really big deal, a really big topic on YouTube and on TikTok this last week.
I think there's people our age and slightly older. We have pent up desire to curse because we grew up with that literally being what could send you to hell. And so we're all just having so much fun playing on the freeway of freedom.
Or the opposite of this can't be true. This is evil. We all, what I get from a lot of people is oh, you just know it's wrong. You know it's wrong.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I don't. If I really look at the Bible, it doesn't tell me it is. So why are we making it a major issue?
Well, anyway, so
one of my newer followers, Mrs. Lexi Conley, is here. Maria Santos. Kristen says, I don't curse out of feeling I sound stupid when I do it. Yeah. April on our Evangelicalish podcast, she's the same. She's like, I'm really bad at it.
I always felt so awkward. It's I thought, oh, people can tell I don't feel comfortable using these words. And then I worked in politics for about 9-10 years. And now I'm probably inappropriately comfortable with the use of
You've offered to give April lessons on how to cuss well.
I think of all the TikTok followers I could get on that. Anyway, well, yes.
Mrs. Lexi Conley says, I think a lot of my generation, I'm 22, is ditching the idea that cursing is bad.
I think you're right.
I think that ship has sailed for sure.
I think so too.
Ohio's in the house. I mean, so she started watching the show Veep. I remember this vividly.
Oh my gosh, you guys! If you love comedy and you like political
Julia
comedy,
Louis-Dreyfus.
It is the most genius comedy I've ever seen in my life. true to form. I mean, just it's spectacular. It's on HBO.
And so she was watching it, and I really wasn't. We weren't binging it together, and so the F bombs just fly nonstop, and the curse words, and I was like sitting there going, "Oh my God!" The show. It was the first show I remember where they were just completely unapologetically. Everybody has the worst potty mouth in it, and now every show, that was an HBO show, but now everybody on Netflix or streaming services.
That's true. It's the like non-cable platforms. Well, good morning, you guys. Thanks for logging in and hanging out with us. If you could let us know where you're logging in from or dialing, I keep saying dialing in. I mean, what is it that we do on social media?
We connect.
Thank you for connecting. Thank you for stopping by. I don't know what to say. Let us know where you're from. We love to just think about all the communities that are represented when we gather on Saturday mornings. And also, if you have never hung out with us on a Saturday morning, I'm Ashley. This is Paul, Old Pastor Paul on TikTok and pastor-paul.com online. Yeah. And we live in the middle of California. I'm former mayor of Fresno, and we've got about 25 years of history now, of course, being married to one another, but also pursuing this notion that that communities can be changed and transformed through like just believing and fighting for and working through spiritual, political, all sorts of channels, serving as mayor for 8 years while Paul planted a church. And we just learned a lot along the way.
We need to boil that down a little bit to a better elevator pitch.
Maybe somebody on TikTok could give us like, how would you say that? I don't know.
By the way, the UK is with us, Richmond, Virginia, Santa Clarita, Savannah, Georgia. Do you have many supporters from England? I don't think so. And then we also have Kennebunkport, Maine.
Great. Yep.
Is Kennebunk and Kennebunkport different? Didn't the Bushes always go to Kennebunkport?
Well, that's a good question for our viewer.
Yeah, it is. And Lisa is saying your last message mentioned an upcoming 12-week coaching program.
Oh, yeah.
It's actually a 15-week. We have, I do emotional well-being coaching, and let's just do a little bit of chat about that real quick. I believe if you work on your identity and your mindset, it starts to impact how you communicate and work in relationship and how you begin to have vision for your life to steward what you have and impact the world. And that's the process we go through in what I call the Core Leaders Network. And so if you've been thinking like, man, I could use a life coach, or I'm going through a time of transition, or maybe I feel like a time of transition is coming in life. Somebody said, I just looked for the coaching, couldn't find it. I know, I'm so bad.
We're working on it.
I've got to get better, but here's what I'll ask you to do. If you're interested in the coaching, go to pastor-paul.com. It'll take you to the podcast website and just go to the events contact page and send me a message. Say, I'm interested in finding out more about the coaching, and we'll set up a one-on-one time and connect together and talk about it.
Yeah. So we're in a scramble to, in the last, 2 years for Paul has been major transition. I mean, we knew that it was time for us to do something different besides lead from traditional platforms. I was transitioning out of being mayor, obviously very traditional.
I'm going to reach in front of you real
Paul,
quick. Excuse me.
And by the way, would you mind turning off that light right there?
Turning it off?
Yeah, I think it's just a little too. I'm going to have like a glaring headache all day.
Okay.
If you guys don't mind for a second. There we go.
Can people still see? Oh yeah, we look fine.
Yeah, sorry. I just I've noticed like being on screen a lot, like with Zooms and everything. At the end of the day, I get a bad headache. So staring into lights is not cool. Anyway, so Paul, transitioning out of being a pastor of a church that we founded and grew, and we're getting good traction with that, and like just felt like this is not where we're supposed to be, and really wanted to I don't know, be in the flow of what we really felt God was doing in this sort of next season. And as a result, Paul we've got a lot of different sort of websites and ways in which Paul is reaching out to people, and all that's going to get consolidated and rebranded here very, very soon.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you guys are very kind to put up with everything and say, let us send you here, and let us send you here, and let us send you here. So we're going to get that worked out. But for the coaching, just send me a message and we'll work it out together. We'll get a one-on-one and we'll Zoom together, and I'll tell you what I do.
And I do need blue light glasses. You're right. Here's the thing though. I have I wear contacts, I have computer glasses, and I need blue light glasses. So I like literally I'm going to have like 3 lenses on, or maybe I just get computer glasses that have the coating for the blue light. I don't know. Anyway, I could use it with this because I'm not trying to like see real close, but on my regular computer work, I need computer glasses and blue light glasses.
All right. And we have somebody from Orleans, Indiana, named Vernie is with us from Orleans, Indiana. And then Rio says, I'm so happy to finally catch you two live. I caught the end of Paul's talk this morning and I started crying because of his big heart and spiritual energy.
Wow.
I was right on the verge. I could have let myself cry there if I wanted to. My heart was just emotionally moved by what we were talking about in the Bible there. And truly the fact that I feel like my job has been to declare the end of the church that I've loved, just as Jesus came and declared, "Oh, Jerusalem, oh, how I would have saved you, but now it's too late. And now you're going to be destroyed." And I feel like that's my message to my church. And I don't mean the church that we founded. I mean the American evangelical church. I feel like God is saying, the season is over.
Yeah.
And it cannot go forward because something new has to come.
Yeah. You came upstairs after you finished that segment and you're like, I think I just about lost it. And I feel like this is the declaration I'm supposed to be making. Do you want to unpack that a little bit for folks that are joining us now and may not have heard that earlier?
I think there is, through history, have been times when God has said, okay, I'm done with this. And we see it all, you read the book of Judges, you go through Kings, Chronicles, it's just this series of like wholesomeness in countries, and they're taking care of the poor, and then they get fat and wealthy and they forget. And then God says, I have to pronounce judgment over you. And so Jeremiah is a book where all of the prophets around Jeremiah are prophesying, we're God's people. His plan on earth can only come through our country and religion. So there's no way Babylon's going to touch us. And Jeremiah is like, no, those prophets are wrong. They're prophesying from a mindset rather than from heaven. And no, God is going to allow us to be conquered because our hearts need to be turned back to him. And so then I was reading about the triumphal entry this morning where Jesus looks over Jerusalem and it says he wept.
By the way, that is by far my favorite Jesus moment in the New Testament. And it's Palm Sunday, right? I mean, that's why you're talking about it. Although did you specifically pull that out this morning for Bible Talk because it's Palm Sunday?
It's Palm Sunday.
It's not because you were sequentially there. Okay. Anyway, by far, I mean, I am so moved by that. Like usually every year, like Palm Sunday is the more impactful Sunday for me that compared to even Easter Sunday, if you can believe that, because you could just feel the heart of Jesus. Like, I love that. Anyway, keep going.
Yeah. He just comes over the hill there and he's like, oh, Jerusalem. Oh, you who killed the prophets. I so wish you're prophesying falsely. I think he was just in the same place as Jeremiah, where the religious people are all saying, no, God's going to come. The Messiah is going to appear. We're going to overthrow Rome. We're going to be in charge. Our religion, our nation is going to change the world. And he's like, I wish it were so, but it's not, guys. It's not. And he wept over Jerusalem and he declared, like, you're not going to stand anymore. They're going to tear you down stone by stone. And of course, that is what happened in history in the year AD 70. And I feel like I'm saying the same of like, our prophets are running around going, yes, our Messiah has come. Trump is president. We're in charge. Isn't it amazing? And I'm sitting here saying, no, guys, no, this is not it. God's plan on earth doesn't exist if only America can be made great again by the evangelical religion taking control of the country. That's not God's goal.
That's not it. And just stop and think about that for a second. Like when you illuminate that, what you just illuminated, like this isn't it, guys. It makes you realize how interwoven that thinking is in American culture today. That is a very disruptive concept that in fact, we ought not be seeking. We shouldn't be thinking that white American evangelicalism being in control of the country is God's plan for, renewal, for revealing himself to people.
Yeah.
You stop and think about this, like, whoa, I mean, there's so many ways in which that is, in fact, what we have subscribed to for so long.
And truly, I think a belief that God's plan on earth succeeds if America is in charge of the world.
Yeah.
I think the religious leaders in Jesus' day, that was their belief, like God's plan will succeed on earth if Israel and the Jewish religion are the military and economic power of the world. And don't we believe that now? The world is only okay if America is the economic and military power of the world. And I think God is like, no, you're going to have to show me in the Bible where it says that. And so that belief system, though, that has allowed us to then espouse so many aberrant beliefs out of that.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that was funny that I was processing through with the group today was, how did the Pharisees take these people who were shouting, Hosanna, the King has come on Palm Sunday, believing their conquering governmental Messiah was in town and was going to overthrow Rome, turn into the same people that are saying crucify him just a few days later. And now watching the American Evangelical Church and the manipulation of the Republican Party and Trump over them makes me go, oh, all the Pharisees had to do was yell, he's not the Messiah, fake news. And everybody's like, oh, okay. Yeah, crucify him.
Hey, by the way, real quick, can we ask everybody, take a moment and share this live? Would be really cool to see if we can boost the number of people tuning in. We obviously believe really strongly about what we're talking about this morning. We've put our professional, personal lives on the line to just try to carve out a space where people can come in and interact safely and connect with each other. I see the comment about needing community. Totally get that. And I know that online isn't all that there is to community, but we are finding like people are connecting with one another in this space. So please share. You can hit that little share arrow. And please also follow Old Pastor Paul if you haven't already on TikTok, and also on YouTube.
And Eel015 just shared the live video. Thank you on TikTok. I appreciate that. I saw Eel said earlier she couldn't find the Patreon page. So I'm going to try to make it as simple as I can. pastor-paul.com. Excuse me, that'll take you to the podcast website. If you click on the Joseph Novel button, the Joseph Novel tab, it'll tell you how to sign up for Patreon to get the audiobook. Sorry, I'm having some digestive issues right at the moment. Thank you. I need to be burped. Thank you all for sharing the live video. So just pastor-paul.com. If you're on your desktop, there's a Patreon button in the upper right-hand corner. If not, if you're on a device, go to the Joseph the Novel tab, and it'll tell you it'll have a link to go to the Patreon page. She found it. That's about as easy as I can.
He or she.
You'll got it. Thank you. Awesome. I love you guys signing up on Patreon.
Yeah, thank you for that support.
And in 2 weeks, I'm going to have the book discussion group that I screwed up today. So make sure you're on Patreon so we can see each other live in Zoom.
Grace for Old Pastor Paul, right?
Thank you.
You have grace for other people. We have grace for you. You have grace for you today.
So Rio is our friend in Fresno who we love.
Yeah.
And she says, Ashley, thank you so much for the sacrifices you're both making to allow Paul to do this.
Oh,
that's so cool.
That's nice of you to.
Rio, I told you on Facebook, I want to have coffee soon. So let's figure it out.
Vaccination. We're almost on shot number 2. And we're going to have coffee with Rios.
Mitch 699 900 on YouTube says, I just joined the Patreon page. Yes, thank you.
That's incredible. Okay. So
what do we want to talk about this week?
we get together on Saturday mornings we call it WTH, the week that happened with Paul and Ashley. And
not WTF, but WTH.
Although there is a WTF in the WTH this week.
Oh, Timothy Noble is here. Sorry to interrupt. He's from Australia. So now we've got an Australian on the line.
Okay.
Yay, Timothy.
All right.
Sorry.
Our
best Australian accent.
Not going to try that. Sorry.
I cannot do accents. I don't know why that is.
You know what? Our daughter is really good at it. She's a music person, an aspiring actress, opera singer, and she's so good at accents.
Yeah.
Anyway,
really is.
so this is WTH, the week that happened with Paul and Ashley. So so how about you go? There went one of our lights, which actually isn't bad because
I think you look okay. Yeah.
now I'm like definitely not going to have a headache at the end of this.
I just wish we had the blinds closed because
okay, well, I don't mind.
I feel like I have a halo almost on the side of my face.
It is a little angelic, which is maybe appropriate for Palm Saturday.
Palm Saturday.
All right.
By the way, I love too that triumphal entry story, and I'll probably talk about this in our Zoom church tomorrow. Timothy Noble, you're not from Australia.
LOL. Okay, where are you from then?
Okay, so there's some other Timothy then that I know that's from Australia.
Okay. Sorry to get that
Sorry
wrong.
about that, Timothy. My bad.
So
where are you from?
We'll try to do the accent of wherever you do actually live.
So I was saying we go straight from Jesus, like weeping and groaning, coming over the hill to Jerusalem, to him then going into the temple and turning over tables and hitting religious people with ropes, which I really, really love. And I like to say, and some of it is shock value for religious Christians, that Jesus went into the temple and he got mega pissed and he just lost it.
Yeah.
Lost it.
He lost his shit.
He lost his shit. Yes, he did. And so I love that about the Palm Sunday story.
Yeah.
So the week that happened. So sometimes we review through my TikToks or something that you saw in the news that you liked. You're reading.
Sorry, I was just still fascinated by where
Timothy is currently in Texas, planning to bounce out.
Got it.
You can go to Texas, actually.
I was born in Texas. So yes, I can do Southern.
I just know it includes some y'all at some point.
Yeah. Okay. So your week that happened.
Okay.
Go.
My week that happened. So like I was saying, I always wondered how the Pharisees were able to get people to go from Hosanna in the highest to crucify him. Well, groupthink is an amazing thing. So the Dominion voting machine company sued a whole bunch of people this week, including Fox News. They're suing for $1.6 billion. Wouldn't that be amazing if the Dominion voting system was able to drive Fox News out of business?
Take that.
Wouldn't that be effing awesome? And so one of the people sued was Sidney Powell, who is the nutball lawyer of Donald Trump. And Sidney Powell was one of the major propagators, along with Rudy Sweaty G, propagating the lie that there was fraud that cost Donald Trump the election, that Joe Biden fraudulently won the election. And Sidney Powell was one of the major propagators of that. And she said Dominion Voting Systems, which was founded by what's his name out of Venezuela, turned the election for Joe Biden. So Dominion Voting Systems, putting their money where their mouth is, suing these people. In court this week, Sidney Powell, the attorney of Donald Trump, the major propagator of the lie, said this: her defense to not lose the case against Dominion Voting Systems is no reasonable person would have believed what I said. Did you hear that? Sidney Powell, the president's attorney, major propagator of the fraudulent claims of the 2020 election, is defending herself in court against a libel suit, saying no reasonable person would have believed what I said. I posted that on TikTok, and you know what happened? I have people arguing with me that there is fraud in the 2020 election, even though the president's attorney is saying no reasonable person would have believed what I said.
Were they saying like, oh, she's just saying that for, she's just having to cave to like this, like falsely based legal system or something like that? Like,
they were just saying, no, one of the guys was like, I respect what you do. We're just going to have to agree to disagree. And I'm like, no, we are not going to. We're not going to agree to disagree that the sky is blue, that the earth is round, and that there was no fraud in the 2020 election. Even Bill Barr said there was not.
And so she was under oath, or this was an affidavit or a deposition of some sort.
You know,
right?
I don't have that
Like,
information in front of me.
I'm getting my terms mixed up, either in person or whatever.
Yeah, this may be just
she was under
her
oath.
response to the complaint, perhaps. But it is a legal document given to the court. This is my defense. I cannot be found guilty of libel because no reasonable person would believe what I said.
You guys, T-shirt campaign right now. Somebody who could pull this off. T-shirts saying no reasonable person. Let's go. Like, I want to buy that T-shirt.
No reasonable person.
No reasonable person. I want that shirt.
Lisa P says those people honestly believe Trump is the second coming or some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so people wake up. I mean, I would always read the Bible. Oh, how could they get people who said, here's the Messiah, to say, crucify him, give us Barabbas. And now we live in a time where the Christian world is saying, no, we don't want the Jesus of the Bible. We want the Messiah president that grabs women by the pee and it uses coarse language and puts those libtards in their place. You know, that's what groupthink does. That's what a principality looks like. And that's why I think God is saying, I'm done with this.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing at this comment. Yeah. I can't see who it's from. Carrie Delicato. The real Proverbs 31 woman quotes Greece 2 and talks about T-shirt ideas. Yeah. The real Proverbs 31.
Oh, she's saying you are
yeah. First of all, I'm impressed that you got the Greece reference, because I've been singing that song all week.
I didn't catch it at all, but of course, I don't think I've ever watched Grease 2.
So
I didn't like Grease 1 that much. So.
I loved it. I thought it was awesome. Anyway, that's hilarious that you caught that. Thanks for saying that. Anyway,
so Rio says it was Sidney Powell was arguing in a court filing.
Okay, it was a filing. All right.
Yeah. So, but whatever it is, now her being forced to be honest, to defend herself from a libel suit, lose her license if she doesn't.
That's it.
So now every time we see Trump's attorneys in court, when they can no longer just stand in front of the cameras and lie, they have to admit there is no fraud. And in every case where the president's legal team went into court, they stipulated there was no fraud. They just started arguing about legislatural procedure. So people, but again, I think God is saying, no, they've made their choice. We're not turning around at this point, but no reasonable person would believe that. Isn't that amazing from the week that happened? And again, I do have a good man who's saying, I respect you, but we're going to have to agree to disagree. No, we're not going to disagree that there's gravity. We can disagree on what minimum wage should be set at. We can disagree on the amount of healthcare services we're given. We can even disagree on what the Second Amendment allows and doesn't allow, but we cannot agree to disagree about facts in the world, period. And the fact that there was not voter fraud that overturned the 2020 election for Joe Biden, we cannot agree to disagree on that, because that is what is destroying our country and our culture. And yes, in fact, our church today.
Yeah. That was big. I actually hadn't heard that. You told me that just this morning, and that is as dramatic as we are acting about it. That's a big, big thing. So I agree that makes the board for WTH with Paul and Ashley. Yeah. That to me is the WTH that is a WTF.
So it is a WTF, isn't it?
Yeah.
And so that WTH leads to the other WTH, which Georgia this week passed very restrictive voter laws, even, making it a misdemeanor to give water. If somebody is standing in line for hours waiting to vote, if you go give them a bottled water, you have committed now a misdemeanor in the state of Georgia. And the video of the African-American woman being dragged from the building.
That was intense.
So Republicans all across the country are trying to pass laws to make it harder to vote. Guys, this is evil. It's evil. They're using a fraudulent claim of fraudulent elections to pass laws to restrict voter rights. Jim Crow 2.0, as some are saying. It is evil. It is evil, and no Christian should support limiting people's ability to vote.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. When I was thirsty, you denied me a bottle of water. Oof. Was she a U.S. representative? I thought she was a Georgia state representative, but
she was outside the Governor Kemp's office, right? When he was signing
she was
the
banging
bill
on his door while he was signing the bill.
I'm not sure if she was a congresswoman from the area or a state house.
I thought she was a state legislator, but I may be wrong on that. And then the two senators that were just elected, Ossoff and Warnock, supported her through speech and through social media. And boy, I thought her statement of I'm not the first to ever be arrested for fighting for voting rights in Georgia. I wish I would be the last, but we know that's not the case.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Fair fight.
PG for me, our friend from the UK is saying, can't your president just override their local laws? No, that's a really unique thing about the American voting system is we give the states all the rights. All the federal government can set is the time for elections, but the states control how those elections are carried out.
What is in the big bill that they're arguing about, breaking the filibuster over to pass? Isn't it like Fair Voting Act or something?
So it's sort of like an extension of the Civil Rights Act.
And would it put restrictions in place on what states can or can't pass?
I
and in
think
which case is it constitutional?
That's going to be the big fight over it.
Yeah.
So yes, that's a big question. Do you get rid of the filibuster so you can pass that law? And then if you do pass it, is it going to be legal? It's going to be the big battle.
Good question from England. American government is extremely decentralized. There are layers upon layers upon layers of jurisdictions and levels of government. So it is both a strength. It's why, for example, when Vladimir Putin or China or Iran try to hack into voting systems and change, like all that kind of crazy stuff that we know they in fact tried to do, but they didn't change any votes. It's why we're so resilient, to be honest. It's like so many redundant systems that can fill in when like others fail, but it is also what makes governing such a challenge. Yeah. But I'll take it. I mean, I think it's in balance. It's better to have that kind of system, decentralized and resilient. We just need to make all the layers. We just need to.
And so it's why when the state of Texas, God bless you, Texas, when the state of Texas wanted to sue the state of Pennsylvania under great pressure from President Trump to make the state of Texas do that, Texas tried to sue Pennsylvania for their election. The Supreme Court would be very dubious to hear that case to begin with, because they would say, no, Pennsylvania gets to set their laws just like you do, Texas. And then Texas was not able to demonstrate there was any cost to them, that there was no damage to them. And so the Supreme Court refused to hear the case, which Ted Cruz was going to be the spokesperson for, by the way, because the Supreme Court was saying, no, Pennsylvania gets to do their voting process as they believe is best, just like you do, Texas, and you don't get to sue them over it.
So, what's interesting in just reflecting on the week that happened, Paul and I were like talking about it yesterday and today, and it's like, gosh, things are kind of boring again. And I joked with somebody else that President Biden's like secret campaign slogan was "Make news boring again." Yeah. But there's stuff going on. Obviously, the vaccination rollout. We're working on a lot of stuff in Central California to try to even out. I mean, it's just everything is uneven, but and disjointed, and all this coordination is required. But people are getting there, and we're starting to. Did we lose our connection?
I wonder if we got shut down. Live recordings unavailable due to a violation of community guidelines. Oh, hi, YouTube. We're still on. We just got shut down on TikTok.
Huh. I wonder what we said.
I don't know.
Wow. We apparently offended.
Oh, my goodness. We just got shut down on TikTok. Let's see. Do I have a place to
petition?
Violation details. Live access suspended for violating our community guidelines. Your live access is suspended Was this a mistake? Submit appeal. Yeah, this has happened before.
Yeah.
Request another review. Sorry, YouTube guys. We're dealing with. We just got shut down on TikTok, and me and TikTok are struggling with each other already. So I think all we can do is submit an appeal, and that's it. Oh, our poor TikTok guys. We got shut down from Alive, and they don't tell you what you did to violate the community guidelines. You just get shut down. So I guess we'll continue on YouTube. Try your other channel. Now, on my other TikTok page, I don't have enough followers yet to do lives on there. So, oh man, what jerks TikTok is. So yeah, if I try to live, they're going to tell me no.
We have been.
So we've been shadow banned,
censored.
And now we've been shut down. So sorry, YouTubers, hang on with me just a moment here. See, I'm sure that I'm on the Swearing Pastor page. We can't go live. Oh! All of a sudden I have a live option. All right, we're going to go live on TikTok on the new page. Sorry, YouTubers, hang in there with us. Is it letting us go live?
I don't know. Oh, it looks like it's loading up.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Talk about like.
Oh, wait. Now that's recording.
I see. Talk about like baling wire and duct tape.
Yeah.
I mean, the way we string together.
Oh, okay. No, I can't go live.
Oh, we're just recording. Okay.
Okay. Well, it's just us and YouTube then.
Well, there you go. Let's have a little intimate YouTube talk for the rest of the morning.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway?
That's the second time I've had a live suspended in the middle of it. So what were we talking about?
I was saying that like Biden is make news boring again.
Yeah.
And there's stuff going on with vaccinations and obviously stuff going on at the border, et cetera. The big infrastructure package is being talked about, $3 trillion. If you can get your head around that, like what, by the way, that number I read in the LA Times today, the American Society of Civil Engineers estimates that that American infrastructure needs $2.6 trillion of an overhaul, and they're talking about spending $3 trillion. So we might actually live in the generation and the decade that over the next decade, we see American infrastructure completely transformed and rebuilt. And it's kind of exciting when I think about it, even though I get really nauseated thinking about that much money and what does it mean for the economic system, and what kind of indebtedness are we taking on? Like I don't pretend to know all those layers, but anyway, that's a big deal. But other than that, it's like week that happened was kind of normal.
Well, it was funny. Debt used to matter to Republicans a lot. It used to be a big deal. And then Trump became president, and all of a sudden he's running up record deficits every year of his presidency. Yeah. And all of a sudden it didn't matter anymore. And now Joe Biden is president again, and suddenly we're fiscally conservative again. So it's who knows? Who knows? But debt used to be a really big deal when I was a kid. I remember everybody was consternating over it. And Pat Buchanan, was a guy that said the government should operate at a deficit. I remember hearing him make that speech, and I was like, whoa, there's a concept. I've never heard that before. And he said it's actually really good for the economy for the government to operate at a deficit. And I've heard from friends that know this stuff, there is a certain percentage of your GDP that you can operate at a deficit, that it actually helps the economy. And I think that's a lot of what Trump did, is he floated the economy with $1 trillion a year of debt, of deficit. And so, I mean, there is a certain amount of that government flowing money into the system that helps the economy go. The problem is if they do it too much, it causes inflation. And so it's always that balance. And again, I'm talking just from what I read. I have no expertise in it at all, but used to be, that was always what I knew, is like deficits are going to kill our children. And now the going mindset seems to be a lot more of like, well, a certain amount of deficit is actually really good. So anyway, so I mean, that was just kind of under the banner of like, like the world is like, we're talking about kind of normal stuff again, right? Like these conversations. I will say a couple of things from week that happened for me, and these are more just like personal instead of observations. But I started listening to this book called These Truths, which is
blowing my mind. It's brilliant. I'm listening to it on Audible, and there are so many. This author who's like I think she's a faculty member at Harvard. She's probably a younger historian. Like I think she got her PhD like in the 90s. So kind of a next gen historian. And there are so many nuggets that she's dropping, and just like the preamble, the intro. And I'm like, oh my God, all these facts like I'd never heard of. So I think I'm gonna have to buy it because I need to see it. If I just hear it, I'll forget stuff. But that has really started. Well, it's just, I don't know, it's another layer of understanding why society is the way it is today with the white American evangelical church, like just no questions asked, believing that kind of whatever we do is the right thing because like we are the founders of the country kind of thing. It's like really shredding that for me in a good way, and like making me think about stuff. So that's been really, really, I don't know, just kind of a big thing for me to consider. And then also week that happened for me, let me just say again, personal thing, but an amazing leader from our community just got promoted to be the small business advocate for California. And just, I don't know, her name's Tara Gray. She runs the Fresno Metro Black Chamber. Seeing her lifted up and the encouragement that that's bringing to our entire community of like, you know, our region is heading something as important as the small business work for California. There's just a lot of like encouragement and like, okay, there's stuff, really good stuff starting to happen for this region. And it's kind of prompted me to say, I was on a call yesterday with some local leaders that like in our 20 years into a 40-year fix in our community, we're starting decade 3, and decade 3 is all about like lifting up the next generation of leaders and then executing on this stuff that we've had planned for a long time. So all of that to say, I don't know, I kind of think this stuff we've been doing around here is going to work. And we're in the middle of an historic time for our community and our region in California. And what we've learned along the way, I think transfers to other communities and, you know, other states and stuff like that.
And that really goes along with a lot of our life philosophy, you know. And in fact, I had a couple of younger adults, millennials, in my Bible talk today who were saying, you know, I've been praying for revival, and I think revival looks like something different than I imagined. And that's really that's our song right there. You're telling our story. Yeah. And we really, why we do what we do in our lives is we started saying, Jeremiah 29:7 says, pray for the welfare of your city, for in its welfare, you'll find your welfare. What if revival isn't 7 nights a week in a church singing worship music? Revival is actually seeing justice come to your city, income opportunity, equality of income opportunity come to your city. No more redlining, whether it's legal or just done. No more sprawl. That everything that's done in a city is for the good, the common good.
Yeah.
What would that look like? And would that not be the most amazing revival we could see?
So that is worth multiple Saturday morning sessions in and of itself, because
even when we get shut down by TikTok.
In my like, yeah, exactly. Well, we can just record this and put it out there for people to see, independent of TikTok. But in our 26, 27 years of pursuing what we would call in our tradition, quote, revival, lowercase r, and really like what we would mean is transformation. Like we believe in a God who loves, who is powerful, all knowing, etc. And what if that God is manifesting in our communities all around us? How does society change? Like that has been our life hypothesis, or like our, to put it in a social science term, like our theory of change of our lives is we believe that that is who God is, that he wants to see that kind of societal, wholesale, systemic change, and B, that he's already, or God is already pushing this, and we're just kind of catching up and trying to figure out how we can be a part of and agree with that. And so having been in that, you know, pursuit for 26 years, probably the number one thing I have concluded is be open to the answers to your prayers looking totally different than what you thought they were going to look like. And if you were to ask us 15 years ago, well, how will you know when Fresno is being transformed? a part of it, not the entire, but a part of that answer would be, well, we would see kind of traditional revival in a church setting. And now we're just like, oh my gosh, like not that that's bad or anything, but like, man, that may have kind of like nothing to do with it. That it's the systemic change, the like removing entire barriers for whole people groups living in our communities, and them connecting with a God who loves, like who created them, loves them, and having society reflect that, that love.
I think it's why I'm, why we're seeing the response to cuss words on my pages, because I think as Christians, we love to find those little minor things that we can declare ourselves holy around. Oh, not saying shit makes you better in God's eyes, but fighting for voting rights for minorities, that's hard and that's messy and it doesn't fit our ideological grid. So why would we do that? And it's interesting because Vitran on, I guess that's Vitran that says, what are your thoughts on the Georgia voting suppression law of no voting on Sundays since it's the quote Sabbath day unquote? I mean, that's Jesus himself said, if an ox falls in a ditch on a Sunday, you're going to leave it in there because it's on the Sabbath, which would have been Saturday for them. If it falls on the Sabbath, you're going to leave it in there. You're going to get it out. No, you're going to get it out because the Sabbath, man was not made for the Sabbath. Sabbath was made for the man. And what that means is God didn't say, don't do anything on Sunday because I want to have this harsh rule. The Sabbath was about having a day of rest, saying you don't work every day. You have to, for your health benefits, take a day off. But if something important enough happens on the Sabbath, you're going to do it because the Sabbath was made for you, not you for the Sabbath. So we don't serve the Sabbath. And so that is just another form of Christianity saying, ooh, we look really holy if we say we won't vote on the Sabbath or we won't play baseball on the Sabbath or some other crazy thing, rather than saying, no, letting humans be able to vote when it's convenient is more important than our form of the Sabbath.
Yeah.
Yes, Paul says, Ria.
Yeah. So
we're so crazy on this stuff. We've so lost our eyes to see where God's heart is in the season. It's pretty amazing.
I think maybe just to kind of restate what I was saying earlier, like if you are praying for, believing for transformation in your place of work, in your family, in your community, broader society, all I would say is this, like have your heart aligned to God's and be prepared for an agent of that transformation to look nothing like you, to be, to show up in a form completely different than maybe you would have expected. But it is staying in alignment with like, okay, is this agent of transformation, this circumstance, whatever, is this revealing God's true heart for people? And if it is, then get on board and say yes to it.
Yeah.
And don't have any other preconditions or requirements like, oh, they can only be from my political party, or they can only be from my, strain of Christendom or whatever. Let all that go. And just open your mind to the idea that, man, God is using all kinds of different people all the time who carry his heart for people. And you want to be in alignment with that,
Yeah.
So that's kind of like my, at this stage of my life, that's my big life lesson.
What if the answer doesn't look like you think the answer should look?
Right.
That's politics. Politics is I need to manipulate a situation to my benefit, and my answer has to be right. Rather than wanting the right answer, I want my answer to be the right answer. And even if somebody else comes with the right answer, I'm against it because it's not my right answer, or it's not the right answer of my tribe. And that's what politics is. And that's when it gets really ugly and messy.
So, I'm realizing that we've already been on for about an hour and we probably need to let people go because it's Saturday and we got things to do. And hopefully people are finding their way to vaccination and feeling a little bit more comfortable getting out there. But I think we will call this, when you post it on YouTube, the live where Ashley and Paul got banned. And then we'll have like a meme of our facial expressions of when we realized we were banned from TikTok.
This is the second time I've been banned from a live on TikTok. And I am really starting to doubt if TikTok is trustworthy for our work, but I don't know. We're still working that through. I do want to tell people about Thursday morning. I did my first hearing God moment. I call it a hearing God moment. It's a meditation practice that I like to do. And I thought, you know what, I'll just put this out there for people and see if they like it. And the response from you guys was amazing. So apparently we may not be doing it on TikTok, but on YouTube on Thursday. In fact, if you want to go back and see the one I did last Thursday, it's available on the Pastor Paul YouTube channel, which I would love for you to subscribe to, by the way. This Thursday, 7 a.m., it'll be a special Easter week version,
Pacific
7 a.m.
time.
Pacific, of our Hearing God moment together on YouTube. And so I hope you guys will join me. It was better than I imagined it was going to be on Thursday. So join me for that 7 a.m. Pacific on Thursday, Hearing God moment.
It's very special.
Yeah.
Very special. All right. Well, thanks for hanging in there, YouTubers, and Pooey on you, TikTok.
Yeah.
But hope you guys have a great week and look forward to
Rio, by the way, thinks our cussing is cute.
That can't be what is making TikTok mad, right? Because like all of TikTok is a cuss word.
Yeah. People cuss all over TikTok. I think it's
political.
We're talking about voting. Probably we had some, usually we always have some Christians report us because Christians are so sweet. And so they probably got some reports from some Christians saying those people are doing horrible things.
I'll bet it was our Sidney Powell riff.
Although it took, it didn't get us to there, but maybe so. I mean, it just maybe the algorithm heard us talking about voter suppression in some way that it was like, it got confused and thought, oh, these people are propagating a myth or something like that.
It's a mystery. But anyway, thanks for hanging in there. And be sure, if you like what Paul talks about, if you like what he's up to, just do everything you can to share. We appreciate there are a lot of platforms right now. We need to consolidate that, make it easier for people to find and help promote. But again, it's pastor-paul.com. You can subscribe on YouTube. And for now, you can find him on TikTok at Old Pastor Paul. And then also your new handle,
Pastor Paul.
We'll see where that one goes.
Yeah.
Swearing.
I'm so sorry to have to send you guys to all these different things. We're going to get it fixed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
all right.
Love you guys. We'll see you.
See you soon.
Bye-bye.